Welcome back to No Agendas. I'm gonna skip the intro. You know what we do here. I got Uncle Jimmy with me, got Cass with me, got Brian with me. We got a lot to get to today. So I actually want to try and not do a 2 hour show this time. Because last time we just kept going and going and going. We could probably talk for 3 hours and treat it like a space, but it's not a space. We're on camera. So I want to get through the topics as quickly as possible today because we will be doing some Y Scout stuff. I know you guys like that. I appreciate the DMs that you've been sending me. So we're going to be looking at Rashford's IQ in depth. I'm going to stay on mute. I'll be in the background and I'll let Cass, Jimmy, and Brian discuss Rashford's so-called decision-making issues and IQ issues based on the Y Scout clips that I'm going to show them. But what we're going to start today is some news has broke about the takeover, so-called takeover. It's been, a year now? It's from Bloomberg saying that Sheikh Jassim's favourite. I'll be quick on this. I'll be honest with you guys. When I see this stuff, I just think this is one person who's got information where he's got it from. Maybe it's relevant today. Maybe the person who told him so-called connected to the process at that moment, that's what they think it is. And they've told this journalist from Bloomberg and it's been reported. It's one person's opinion. That's how I see it. As far as I'm concerned, I tweeted this. There's no Fabrizio Romano. It's not transfer news. There is no tier one here to give us anything. There's no tier one for the Glazer family and their personal thoughts about how they want to sell the football club. It's just conjecture. It's smoke screens. It's smoke and mirrors, all of that stuff. So I take it with a pinch of salt. I still think it will be Qatar, and I'd like it to be Qatar. They got the most money. I think they're playing games. I think they want to make sure it don't look like a state bid. That's why they haven't blown Ineos out of the water. That's just my thoughts. I think if they wanted to come in 7 bill, they could. But once they do that, they can't pretend it's not a state-funded situation when it's supposed to be the 92 Foundation and this bank of HSC. That's my thoughts on it. I'll go to Cast and I'll go to Jimmy, then go to Brian and get your thoughts on it, and then we'll move on.
I don't know, man. I'm bored of it. But if it's Bloomsburg, it's Bloomsburg, isn't it? That's, every time there's something leaked, the share prices go up. And if you know what Glazers are, they're greedy. So that means the price must alter as well. I think they've been doing this on purpose this whole window. They've been leaking information out so they can raise the share price so they can ask for more money. So the more you keep it quiet, the better it's for us, in my opinion. The less we know, the better. That means you don't have Sky Sports and these next men that don't know anything really and truly coming out and telling us, I don't know if Glazers are going to actually sell. I don't know if they're going to be doing this or that or anything like that to make the fan base panic or make rivals laugh at us. I'm tired of it. So the more it's quiet, the better it's for me, because Glazers were going to stay. Don't you think a statement would have been put out by now? It would have been done ages ago. They've had 2 months of quietness now. So I think we all know where it's going. And if it means they go, and I don't care, but if it means we lose a couple more games with Ten Hag, so be it. So be it. That'll be the best window ever. How about that? But I'm just bored.
Jimmy, your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I don't even know why this is news, to be honest. It's not news. There's nothing I've read that's telling me anything we didn't suspect anyway. I don't see anything that changes anyone's opinion in any way, shape, or form. I don't see anything that is giving any kind of update. Really, there's no news in there. It's just like this story that just written nicely. That's all. And it just doesn't really tell us anything at all. So for me, it's just like Cass. I'm bored. When I saw it, I thought, I'm not going to bother reading this. There's no, and then obviously you're forced to read it because people are talking about it, and you go back and read it, and I'm like, it doesn't tell us anything at all. Nothing new, in my opinion. It's just a story that was nicely written. Tells us absolutely nothing at all for me.
Brian?
Yeah, man. At this point, the only news about the takeover that I care about is that the takeover has been completed. If it's not that, I don't really care, to be completely honest with you. And the reason is because I just have takeover news fatigue. I spent the entire summer caring about the takeover, and nothing happened, and so I'm over it. I'm over it at this point. So that's the only news that I want to see, and I don't care who reports it, as long as it's true. I'm there for it. That's really all I got to say.
Yeah, I think that, but if we're gonna go off what he said, what's his name? Oh, what's his name again? That came up from Bloomsburg.
I don't know the guy's name.
Name's
Never heard of him. Don't know him. Never.
So he's from Bloomsburg, and as far as I know, I've done a little bit of digging as well. So I'm just gonna make sure I get the name right. David Hellier. So I thought, okay, he could just be a next guy that's just reporting from Bloomsburg, but how much does he truly know? Then I thought, let me go and do some research on him. And he was the first person to come out about Everton's takeover back in January about the 777 Foundation. So he's the first one that came out about it and reported it first, and clearly he has his neck in the right place. Pause. So there we are, man. So if you want a little bit of credibility behind something, I mean, it's a little bit of.
Yeah, no, he's a finance guy.
He's
a finance guy. Maybe the information he's got is accurate, but I'm not stressing over the take on these. I want to point out something. I went and got this graphic quickly up here because Cass said something about the share price. You know, all of this like just the wild reaction. 500 million's been wiped off the value, etc., etc., etc. Here's Man United share price today. Yeah, right. I just want to show. It's based on the last year. This, yeah, is Man United share price. Hold on, let me. Gone in too much there. It was announced on the 22nd of November is when they announced the strategic takeover. Look where Man United share price is. Can you see where it is? Can you see? 13, whether dollars or pounds, whatever it is on here. It's probably pounds because I'm in the UK account. £13. Yeah, this is a year ago. So when everybody's going crazy because it's £3 less than its height whenever this was, I can probably get the date, or £2 less, £5 less. A year ago, our share price before they announced the strategic review was at £13.13. Today it sits at where it was when they told you £500 million had been wiped off the value. It's £6 higher even now. Yeah, when they were telling you £500 being wiped off the value in a matter of months, yeah, they're basing it based off the spike of the strategic review. The Glazers are still up. Even now, we're wasting a year, they're still up. And like Cass, like when you speculate and put out information, Sheikh Jassim, you'll probably see it jump again. It'll go up and down and blah, blah, blah. None of this matters. Because the price that Sheikh Jassim or Ineos will purchase the club at is higher than what you see on the market.
That's why Rio Ferdinand got told to shut the fuck up. That's all.
So honestly, people, when you see this stuff, just take it with a pinch of salt. I honestly wouldn't stress about it. That'd be my advice to everybody. It's been a year. If you're still stressing about this, I don't know what to tell you at this point. We had some other breaking news today. Whether people think Muppeteers are credible or not, they're not credible to me personally, but you know, some interesting information has come out from the Muppeteers that the recruitment team do not believe that Amrabat's going to be a successful signing, and yeah, he's a Ten Hag signing effectively. Number one, every single player that comes to Man United is scouted. Whether the scout reports dictate whether it should have been a signing, not a signing, whether they make the final decision, I'm talking even Woodward era, if we should sign the player based on the scouting reports. None of that matters. Every single football player is scouted. So that's why I'm suspicious of Muppeteers when he claims Amrabat and who was it, Onana, weren't scouted. Load of nonsense. Every player gets scout reports. It's just standard in football. Whether you paid attention to it, whether the strategy behind the scouting is right, whole other conversation. Every player is scouted. It's one of the reasons why I don't trust him as a source. Now, let me just get this out, guys, before I get your reaction. Just off memory, Man United have 3 chief scouts, one being Mick Cork, who's the chief technical scout, who works with the data analysts. They get the reports on the players, feed it in with the analysts, players' names come to the top filtered, and then there's a veto system. Recruitment team, John Murta, Eric Ten Hag. Arnold can probably step in if he wanted to. He doesn't seem to step in when it comes to choosing players. So Arnold's not a factor in that mix. If the Muppeteers are right, that means that it's Ten Hag and Murta versus the recruitment team. I'm going to come to you first on this, Brian. If the story is true, that's really what it is if you understand Man United's veto structure. It's Ten Hag and Murta versus the scouts and the analysts. What's your thoughts on this dynamic?
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, it might not be. I mean, that's certainly not the best if you have people who can kind of overrule a team that does the work for you, and essentially you just have to choose from it. So it makes you question, like, how good is the working relationship between Ten Hag and Murtough and the scouting team, if that's the case, if that's true. I tend to believe that they probably all work more closely together than that, personally. It's much more collaborative than that. But I think that a lot of this stuff is also stemming from the fact that people are putting a lot of pressure on the recruitment at Manchester United, and without forgetting the fact that people are allowed to make mistakes at all levels. And it's better to work as a team and make mistakes so you can rectify it as a team, lean on one another's strengths, opposed to Ten Hag and Murtough making these mistakes in isolation when they had information from a scouting team that could have helped them make better decisions. They're just choosing not to listen to those people. If that's the way that Manchester United is structured, we're completely done with anything, with any type of like real serious contention on the pitch. If our coach and his number two aren't listening to their team that they employ. But I don't feel like that's the case, personally.
Cass, what's your thoughts on this?
Don't care. Be honest, it's like, I don't actually care. Like, I just think it's all crap. Someone just wants to make news and put a spin on something, just in case. What's his name? Let's say Amrabat isn't a success, then we can probably say the midfield of Man United is going to go downhill. Erik Ten Hag goes downhill, and then somehow Muppeteers and Glazer puppets can spin it for them and say this wasn't on the club, this was on him. It's just preparations, just small preparations, and it's just the same thing over and over again. You know what I don't get, right? So I thought, again, I'll do a little bit of digging today, because you know what? Typically, I just don't bother. But I've been recently in more spaces listening to, other people from different sides of the world. And they always want to talk about Ten Hag getting his signings, but they're the same people. When you go on their tweets, I'm not going to say no names because I like to do it in silent. Actually, I might do it. Anyways, they're talking about Ollie, a lot of the Ollie sympathists, you could say, so sympathizers, when they were saying, oh, Man United weren't getting Ollie his signings, this is why he flopped and this, that, and the other. But the same ones are crucifying Ten Hag because he's getting what he wants. And when you think about if he's got what he wants, how many have you seen of what he wants on the same pitch at the same time? Two signings out of the 7-8. And I'm not classifying the loanees that are only here for loans without obligations to buy. Talk about them ones. So again, people just want to complain for the sake of complaining because they're bored and got nothing else to do and don't want to be objective to suit an agenda. That's just why I'm on a No Agenda podcast today. Just to, for a breath of fresh air,
It's a good segue as well. I like that. Good branding there. Jimmy, what's your thoughts on, this, I don't even know what to call it, conjecture?
For me, it depends what direction they're looking to take this project, if you want to call it a project. Because for me, it just screams like firefighting. It just screams like disorganization for me. Because I always thought, we were made to believe that when Ten Hag's come in, yes, he's going to have the last say on recruitment, but I didn't think that he was going to be involved in every aspect of that recruitment process. And it just feels like the recruitment team are not recruiting, are they? Because Ten Hag is having all the say, and you know what? If it's true that he does have all the say, then it might mean that this project's going to be quicker than if it was just a recruitment team doing the recruiting. So, for me, it just screams firefighting. It screams that we're not organised at all at the moment, and it also, I think it's a lot to do with the fact that the uncertainty of the ownership of the club still, is going to keep having an influence on how decisions are made at the club, and I think this is an example of that.
I don't understand. I don't understand. It's like, wasn't it not recent that we got rid of Jim Lawler and Marcel Bout, and then there's a new chief executive scout and all this kind of stuff to fit in with the plans of the club and John Murtough?
Yeah, but do you know what that is, Cass? Someone who actually, this is the difference between me and most Man United fans, especially the people count here. I actually have an interest in recruitment in football in general. Yeah. I'm a nerd. I'll listen to podcasts, people in that field. I'll look at different projects, the structures. I've realized the titles don't really mean nothing. Depends on the organization you're in, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I've realized, Cassia, is Man United fans just want something to work. So they'll just crap on that model that doesn't work. But when they see something's worked, they'll say that's the right model. No one actually has any principles that they believe in. That's why they go one way and go the other way. That's why your point about the hypocrisy, I think, is spot on. At the same time, though, do you know what? When I saw that story about Anthony, we're not going to talk about Anthony, but that story about the club not knowing about Anthony, I think that ties into what you're saying, Cass. When the time comes, they can say Ten Hag knew and he didn't tell them. Same thing with this. If it's somebody's way, because I think the Muppeteers is an industry plant, I'll be blunt. That's what the PR I saw him do for Maguire when that move went south. The PR he did in favour of the club, that told me everything I need to know about that channel as far as I'm concerned. This is how I view it, though, based on what I think happens at Manchester United, or how I think it should look. This is normal. Unfortunately, Man United fans have a toxic relationship with their football club and they don't understand what is normal. Right? So if you sign 8 football players and 5 the manager wanted outright, of that 5, you know the football club could have wanted 2 of them anyway. Mount as an example. They seem to be aligned. Then you'll have the other 3 signings. Ten Hag didn't really have an opinion on, I want that guy for that position. And the scouts and the recruitment team went and found him and he accepted those signings. That's how, hold on, Cass, that's how the working relationship should work. And if they get another January and a third summer window, I suspect if Ten Hag at that point has 14 signings, you could probably do a pie chart. A third of it, mainly the recruitment team. Another third of it, they aligned and agreed, so more signings like Mount, but better choices. Another third of it, Ten Hag just wanted his guy. I think that's how the relationship should work over time. The problem is, because the project isn't going well at the moment, these type of stories will rattle the fan base. When in reality, like you said, Cass, you ain't even seen his signings this summer on the pitch together for 3 football matches. Not even 3.
We got exactly the same. Technically, what I don't understand is we got exactly the same footballers, Bar and Anna, and altogether a 60-minute display of Hoyland and 2 games of Mason Mount. And they're not even in the same pitch. It's the same team as last year, but when we try to go out there and try new things because he's trying to play football and see what these lot can do, it's exactly the same team. Exactly the same. So what do people want to expect? And yes, that's probably down to the Ten Hag to identify to make sure we do win. But maybe he's just trying to put something in place for when it goes forward, when about 4 players are meant to be coming back against Burnley and stuff like that, and just keep it moving. He might have to sacrifice a little bit, but that's him. That's down to him to find. Again, I was going to mention, even with the Anthony thing, why is that coming out with Man United all of a sudden? This is why it's bullshit.
Yeah, that stuff there, I think
these stories were already out when you go look at the dates, when Anthony was back at Ajax. So why don't they go towards Ajax and go to criticize them?
I've asked this question. Cass.
And all of a sudden, you're seeing it drop by flies. The woman last year dropped statement gone. The other woman...
We're not going to go into the Anthony.
Yeah, I know, but it's just you got to feel for Anthony, bro. Where's his thing? But because people don't like him, because people don't like him, Danny. I think
it was Martin Samuel, right? You'll never go broke selling negative United news or Man United.
The thing is, because people don't like him, they're gonna want him to get out and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to these Mason Greenwood sympathizers, they want him back in the club when it's hardcore evidence to your ears. You could be your own judge on that part, but it's just dumb anyways. Obviously, we're not talking about that part.
One other point, though, because I lost my train of thought before. It's something that you said. This is the thing, yeah. People tell me I'm Murta Madness and I'm on the payroll, right? When you guys who are anti-Murta were lapping up Jim Lawler and Marcel Bout getting fired, I was telling you guys don't fall for the PR. Why would I do that if I'm Murta Madness? It's because I understood Jim Lawler's an old school scout who keeps it in his head. Same guy who found Javier Hernandez and a whole other player for Sir Alex Ferguson. And Marcel Bout, go check his CV. It's A1. They didn't leave because they're bad scouts. They left because the process. Basically, they want chief scouts who can also delve into the analytics alongside the eye test, and that's what Mick Court and the other chief scouts can do. Lawler and Bout were not those guys. Bout actually just stayed here post LVG because they liked him. He was very good at video analysis. But they wanted guys who could do the analytics, and when the wider scouting network are feeding the reports to them, And when they got their eyes on a player, they can merge the two things. That's why. But when you listen to people like Samuel Luckhurst, Jim Lawler's gone, symptom of Man United's bad recruitment. Load of nonsense. That guy's CV on Sir Alex Ferguson is A1, better than Ragnick's. Tell you that.
24 years under Man United.
15 years at Man United, better than anything Ragnick's done. But you guys will tell me he's a guru, and you're cheering when Lawler's fired. You guys don't. You don't know anything about. You don't know anything about this whole You actually don't respect recruitment. All you care about is the outcome. If you see something good, you've got your unicorn and your recruitment messiah. If you see something bad, everybody's crap. Let's fire everyone, blah, blah, blah. If Liverpool did what Man United fans would want Sheikh Jassim to do, by the way, for all you know, we have a Michael Edwards we're about to fire within the football club. FSG promoted Edwards. Jobs for the boys, right? That's what you're told. They're bad. But they promoted Edwards when Damien Comoli left. So, listen, I just say let Ten Hag land. Because I tell you this, if Amrabat, Onana and Højlund have good seasons, that's 3 out of 4 signings that have done well. Do you want to do the math on the success rate? It'd be higher than Chelsea's. I'll tell you that right now. We're going to move on to the next topic. We've got a super chat I need to read. Let me get this up. Let me get rid of this banner as well quickly. Can we move on like an amateur? Shout out to United Tunnel, man. I was talking to him earlier. We were talking about him saying McTominay is better than Rice 2 years ago. Shout out to Tunnel, though. Glazer out, No Agenda Podcasting. Appreciate the super chat, my brother. Next on the agenda. It's my favorite. I'm going off cam. Rashford IQ. You know the settings already, man. We're going to go into Y Scout. And we're going to have Cass, Jimmy, and Brian discuss Rashford's so-called low IQ in it. That's what we're going to be doing next. Just wait for that to load. Let me get the playlist up. And then we'll delve into this little Rashford experiment. Let me get the screen. First things first, let me get the... I don't know why the audio plays out. It annoys me when it does that. Turn it off somehow. I can't.
I think it's off now anyways.
It might not stay off for every clip, but I'll try and stay on top of it. You guys see this okay, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, first section is, these are penalty box entries. Every time you enter the penalty box, I've isolated for that. So I want you guys to assess this. Let's go. Where does he get the ball? Yeah, it breaks, then he goes in. All right, cool. We'll start here. As this develops, what's your first thoughts? I'm curious, actually. What's you guys' first thoughts at the moment?
To be honest, he's surrounded by three players. At this moment of time, I'm seeing is that Van Heck. I'm seeing him flat-footed, so I'm thinking Rashford should drive to the byline pretty much, obviously into the box.
All right.
But then you see it here, obviously, as he does. Look, yeah.
And this is where people. You think
this is my issue with Man United. This is my issue with Man United, man. Where is the extra central midfielder that we get fucked up by so much to arrive late in the box and go score? Guess where he is? He's in our 16-yard area. 6-yard box trying to ping balls all the time because that's his instruction. That's what I don't get. This is where I like when Bruno was playing under like a Martial, he would always Bruno should just be where he does best, in the box, bro.
But in regards to Rashford, bear in mind it's 5 minutes into the game, so let's not forget the context. Are you mad he's not trying to cross here?
Nope.
No, not really. No one's there, but the way I see it, sometimes you can force a mistake, even if it is not going nowhere.
No, I'm mad he's not crossing.
Yeah, I think he needs to point into that little area there, because even if
look at this. This is scoring goals in the Premier League is margins. Most of the time, it's margins. That is that you've got a better chance of scoring with him squaring the ball here to him trying to shoot. I just why would you not give yourself a better chance of scoring rather than forcing it? So because for me it feels like he's thinking I need to impact the game, so that's why he's taking a shot, because he wants to score the goal, to be the one that impacts the game. And I get that. I'm not saying it's a selfishness, but there's an element of I want to take control of us turning this game around, and that's admirable. That's great. But you want to give
Jimmy, because I've
scoring.
What I've just detected, there's hindsight bias. It's 5 minutes into the game. There's nothing to turn around. Yeah? So just be... Jimmy
No,
did this with the Bruno one, yeah, where he struggled to
no. But
accept the definition for key pass. Look, I get what you're saying. In this
no, but do you understand what I'm saying? Give your
You're saying,
team the better chance of scoring.
I hear
Give
you.
your
You're
team the
saying you
better
can put
chance
the
of
ball
scoring.
across the box for Højlund for a tap in here. Cool, noted. Cuts back. At this point, there's no
Look
cross.
at that. I mean, come on.
Now, at this point,
Come on.
he's going to shoot at that point. So the moment for me here to cross, if he's going to, is now.
Yeah.
Right? You can see where Højlund's running to. Does the ball
Yeah,
get
I
there?
don't.
To be fair, he done well though. I can't lie. To beat him,
I mean,
to dumb him, go past him. But then it's like, look up. You can shoot, but I look at two players arriving into the area.
So even at this point, when
Literally here, look at is that McTominay here at the bottom, here at the base?
Someone should be there, bro.
Dallow's right there at the edge of the
Who's
D.
that? Is that McTominay?
Dallow should burst into that space
that's
and give
Dallow.
us the second option.
Dallow,
Like,
Ericsson, and
all right, let's focus on Dallow quickly. So you see where Dallow is there on Matoma. He's thinking about rest defense. As soon as Rashford blows past his man, he starts accelerating.
Oh, look, he was all the space
He doesn't even
there.
pick him up.
It's a tap in, man.
That's a tapping goal. That's an easy goal. This is what I'm saying. It's margins in these matches.
It's not that.
You don't always have to be the one that makes a difference.
I'm going to go to the next example, yeah? We don't know if Rashford will pass to Dallow anyway, but I get what you guys are saying. You'd still like to see, as soon as Rashford cuts back.
There,
right?
just pass it there, bro. There's a whole gap. Lift your head up. The brother doesn't lift his head up enough, and that's what annoys me.
Well, I would say though, to Rashford's defense, where are his options? Where are his options?
Well,
that's what I mean. It's like
Dallow's an option.
There's two options.
Not in this position. He's not an option at all. So this is what I mean. Give Rashford enough of a leash to make the wrong choice. But his teammates aren't even doing that. It's like
I get so Brian,
team,
what you're saying is I get what Brian's saying to a point where yes, Dallow's here, but we should have someone.
Somebody's got to be there.
Yeah,
off the ball is just as important. You got to sense the space.
I hear that. All right, cool. We're gonna go to the next example. I'm gonna skip ahead. All right. So bear in mind, the first example, he could have crossed. Then there wasn't an option. He shot. Cool. This is 3 minutes later. The timestamps are important. First 5 minutes, he decided to shoot. In this situation, this was a decent counter attack. We'll skip over that.
It's actually a decent ball, bro.
Yeah.
It's a very good ball. If anything, Højlund, it's unfortunate he didn't get it, but Højlund should be putting that away, I think.
Yeah.
No,
see, that's what I mean. That's Rashford in a similar position, making a different choice.
Do you know what my issue is here, though? Do you know what my issue is here? If we played a 4-3-3 this game, I don't think we needed to play no 4-2-3, a diamond. Why is Højlund the only one in the box? If there was Palestra or even Anthony, someone's there at the back post. Someone's having to bust a gut to get back. Lamptey, anyone has to think differently. So even if Højlund doesn't get there, we don't have enough bodies in the box. So that's actually a great ball. You know what? Rashford there, that was great signs for me.
You know what I'd say? We've seen plenty goals, not plenty, but enough goals from Sancho and Anthony where they're at the back post.
Yeah, just tapping.
I've seen Anthony and Sancho get tap-ins.
Anthony scored one, didn't he, recently, where he was there in that position?
Was it against Fulham? Sancho got the tap.
I think it was. Was it Fulham?
Yeah, it was when he came off the bench.
Yeah, and Anthony, of the goals he scored, a third of them have been like tap-ins. It's either tap-ins or, his Mr. Whippy wonder finish that he does, isn't it? All right, let's get to the next example. But I think you're right, Cass. It's a good point. 4-3-3, we have someone here at the back post. You're right. It's a good observation. I ain't reviewed any of this, by the way. We're doing this in real time. All right, we'll look at this situation. Good little ball.
I like this. I remember the sequence of play.
Then we just lose it. Okay, so this play just breaks down here.
Yeah, but it's the way we recovered it.
After the fact. All right, we'll get to the next example. Because like I said, what I've isolated here is just penalty box entries. So any entry Rashford's had into the penalty box.
Look how many Brighton players there are, bro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They got 7 pretty much going towards it, and then they got another 2. So they're all in our half. This is my issue with Man United, yeah? I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only 5 of our attackers to their 8/9. We should be playing a lot higher to squeeze them. And this is where I think Ten Hag's tactics are a little cowardly. If you're going to play a diamond, you better play some pressing ball. Why are you scared of Lind? We got Danny Welbeck pretty much by himself up the top. I'm pretty sure Martinez and that can deal with that. Or McTominay just
Danny Welbeck was playing like a midfielder almost.
This is what I'm saying. Look at where they are in their halves. This is what I'm saying. We could be doing so well at this.
I disagree with you. I tell you why I disagree. Let me come on camera. I disagree because Højlund just doesn't hold the ball up there.
No. I hear that, but you know what it is? But look how well. What I'm going to point out to you, Danny, though. Look how well when you lose the ball. When I was in academy ball, you got literally about 2-3 seconds to properly respond and in your position. This is why it comes down to tactics, though, as well, because you can't be in a position to press. I'm saying, look. If you look here, the low should be on Matoma. He should not be passive. He should be
much much closer than that.
Him, I think that's Pascal Gross. Bruno Fernandes is in a very
Bruno's not even helping with the press.
Wait. So this way you guys hold on. Just remember, remember, Højlund's got it. If I let it play, he ain't lost it yet. So when he loses it,
it's here. It's here. This one here, Bruno Fernandes.
What I like here, Bruno's scanning to see what's behind him. You can't see the whole picture. Højlund reacts immediately, which I like. You need to see more of that from all of our forwards, Rashford in particular. When you lose the ball, what I like here though, because Højlund presses, Bruno don't have to. So we maintain a good. We've got him outnumbered 3-1. Because if Højlund doesn't press, then Bruno's coming over. And then trust me, No, but I'm saying if Højlund doesn't, they're bopping a triangle around Bruno.
No, I know that. But look, if you continue to play, Bruno should. This is where I call it stupid pressing. Delow's passiveness, don't get me wrong, should be up there. And I think Delow actually played very, very well. And his passiveness actually paid off for the first 20 minutes of the game. Bruno does not need to be there. I know he's there to squeeze, but don't get me wrong, Delow should be up. This is at Old Trafford. Delow should be on Matoma. He's the last winger. Like, there's nothing in front of him. Bruno.
So you want Dalot? You want Dalot on Matoma now?
Like, you know what it is I saw yesterday on Saturday, Danny, right? When I tell you for free, look at this part.
You know what? We'll save this for because we're going to be. We're going to be looking at that 30-pass goal they scored in it. So let's just stick to the Rashford thing. And I'm going to do a little segment on Ten Hag's pressing scheme as well. Anyway, all right, cool. Another situation. Now Cass has said it, I just think about how many bodies we have ahead of the ball when we're in these situations. I can't remember what Rashford does. Let me play it. All right, for me, he should be playing that ball for McTominay. As soon as he sees McTominay, like my criticism on Rashford, like when he's in the box and he wants to shoot, he's a forward. I get his instincts. For me, it's in situations like this, he needs to slow down and be more aware of the overlaps and underlaps. In this situation, I think that's McTominay. Yep, I see that stride and long legs. Pause. And you see McTominay point as well. Like,
he tries to take on 4 man.
McTominay points at the right time as well because that's when he should be dinking it over.
For me, that just goes down the side. It just goes down the side. It just to play it for the underlap.
Yeah, but there I'm saying when McTominay is pointing, that's when he should dink it between the two defenders. That's going.
You know what the maddest thing is? Even if he played that early and McTominay's there, you can force a penalty in that situation as well.
You can, yeah.
This is the one that went over the line, right? This is the one that went over the line.
Oh, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's the one that went over the line.
That's very lucky, to be fair. But again, he went over the line.
I'll be so real. I blame the grounds crew. They should have put a little hump in the line there so Rashford can actually get that little bit extra space, get his assist. I blame the grounds crew for that one.
You know what I say here, yeah? So point one should use the underlap.
Yeah,
if you don't, at least you know what I do like here, yeah? He's got to the byline. Because if he cuts inside here, I'm vexed. And I've seen him try to act like players aren't there and shoot through people. It annoys me when he does that. But option one, you didn't take it, fine. Yeah. But he got to the byline at the end of the day. So
Danny,
I was just unlucky. And they shouldn't have I don't even know if that ball was actually out of play.
You know the thing is, if you look at it here, he had an actual another option. When he stopped, look at Bruno, the way he twisted his body to go back as well. But then you look at the other bodies as well. Why is the low far up on that pitch? Where's Ericsson and them, man, as well?
Let me find
where is the other people? Which is this is what annoys me. See here, look, if he thought he was stopping it, Bruno puts up. That's a great position, by the way. All Rashford had to do is lift your head up and feint it and know what you're doing. But he made a decision. That's fine. I don't mind that. Be brave. right?
Do you know what I'd say again though?
Look, if you look here, look how many. Look, I'm just gonna say this right now, yeah, as well. Count how many Brighton bodies are there compared to how many bodies we have. We know what we were so good at, yeah, last year.
7. They got 9 bodies in the box.
Bro, and how many bodies do we have as options? Look at the back post again, by the way. The Hoyland has dragged all of them. Food for 4 minutes.
Another case for 4-3-3.
I would say
example. Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll save it. We'll go on the next one.
Next example. Okay. Boy, people telling me you weren't a threat in this game was the only threat.
That's what I was thinking as well,
Danny. So what I find interesting, what bothers me here, this time round, I wonder how this play, was it a long pass? Yeah, it's a long pass, to be fair, from Lindelof. Been a while since I've seen him do that for Rashford.
Good touch.
Again, because of the formation we're playing, though, I think you've hit the nail on the head here, Cass.
Things are too narrow.
Like, we should have, like, if we're playing 4-3-3 or you're 4-2-3-1, or it's still 3 anyway, you're going to have an extra body, but let's see what develops it, because I can't actually remember.
It's the way Hoyland, look now, look at McTominay does it. Bro, flick it back post, man. McTominay made such a sick run, and he tries to shoot. This is what pisses me off. If you're going to hit, at least hit on target.
I think it got blocked.
To be fair, the shot was actually millimeters wide, to be fair. I'll give it to him on that part, but he doesn't lift his head up enough.
Let's get to this one. For this one, right, so this is one of the ones that annoyed me personally, right? Because when this developed, in real time, I'm saying to myself, yo, slow down. Because if you slow down, you'll see
burners on him.
You've got a gap to exploit to find Hoyland, and Reguilon is busting the neck in a way Luke Shaw will never do for you. So you slow down. Slow down. But nope, he's gone. He's just gone. Now, this is the one where, now I'll be honest, all those people showing those pictures on social media saying he should have crossed here. That cross is
to get across. See, but you know what it is? It's a lack of awareness. Like you said, he should have slowed down. But if you go backwards before he even goes into the box, he should have looked at Hoyland. And bro, if you do that, you've got you could have 2 options. Give it to Reguilon when he comes by, or make the pass yourself. Because guess what?
You could have done here. You know the one, all these sympathizers are still upset, right? They show that counter-attack against Newcastle.
I think I remember.
The one where Bruno under the bar post finish from the little narrow angle. Remember that counter-attack? Donny was playing that day. If he slows down now, right, and starts cutting inside, he's got 2 options. If he cuts inside now, he could either play in Hoyland or feint to shoot and play reverse bars for a regular if he wanted to. But
and
he decided. No one's at the back post again.
No. I mean, if he stopped, look at the back post. I'm telling you now, if he stopped, McTominay's running.
Yeah, I hear that. But for me, this frame where people were like, he should cross here. No, once he's gone here, you don't even know if that cross can easily get blocked. The problem,
play behind, man.
The problem actually is starts now. He should slow down. We'll get on to the next example. My bad. I have to zoom in and out because on my screen I can't actually see where I am. So I have to zoom in and out on the screen. Right. Let me pause that. We'll go back in. All right. Another one here. Okay. So in this example.
Last minute.
Yeah, I know. It's not in time sequence anymore. All right, this one, he uses the underlap, to be fair. Good run as well. Who is that? Is that Lindelof?
No, that's Garnacho, I think.
Garnacho.
Because of the boots, I thought it was Lindelof. But yeah, he uses the underlap. All right, cool. He used it in it.
But look at it again though. Look, how many bodies? Count the bodies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's about 8 bodies, right? How many bodies have we finally got in the box? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not all of them are going to be in the box, but the point is that we're matching them up. You know what I mean? We're being brave with it. That can go anywhere. And even if they break, you should have other players scanning it to recover that ball. If they get a break, then obviously you have to bust a gut. But that's high risk, high reward. What's the point of 10-hour football when he doesn't go towards his high risk, high reward football? It goes to show he just doesn't trust the players. Still, just from that alone, he doesn't trust the whole team.
Well, I tell you this though, when I look at this, they defend cutbacks way better than we do. They've got 4 man to R2 there.
They play hexagon, bro.
They got a player there to react to Ericsson, and I think that's Pelestri behind them, and they got a man at the back post.
It's a great structure, great defensive
structure. And this is in the 96th minute. They actually know how to structure their team. So what we're saying, in 7 examples we've seen so far, just to review, he's made the right decision at least twice, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't been keeping count.
Left foot,
and bear in mind,
left foot cross, and maybe the one that drives to the byline.
In fact, one of these was the nutmeg pass to Højlund. So it's really out of 6. So out of 6, what are we saying? 2 or 3 right decisions?
2.
Yeah.
2? Cool.
You know what, though? I won't discredit him. If there was a couple shots where I thought, you know what? He has every right to shoot as well. He made the space for himself.
Yeah, there was that one he tried to curl it. He's got every right to try that shot. Yeah. Every right. On the edge of the box, right angle.
The issue is with this game, I find this. Bruno was trying to do a lot from deep, right? And the thing is, that means who are we going to heavily rely on for creativeness on top of our goal scoring as well? It's through Rashford alone. This is why Ten Hag got it severely wrong, because a lot of these decisions that you could have, we should be using Pellistri as the outball more time, because Pellistri actually made those sort of runs and those sort of crosses. And guess what? This time around, I guarantee you'd have not just Højlund doing the running, but you have Rashford there as well. Rashford's actually very good at spotting the cutback pass from the byline. He does it all the time. We just threw the game. I thought, right, when he split the centre backs wide, Brighton, he was getting dominated for that 5-minute period. If De Zerbi can do the in-game management stuff, why couldn't we just switch to 4-3-3? So they split their centre backs, put a third person on the wing instead. You could even put Bruno there for the time being, to be fair, if you wanted to. Yeah. The fact is, it's to nullify Veltman and to also nullify Lamptey. That means they have to do everything through the middle. That means you keep it more compact. Dalot was already having a good game. Reguilon was actually having a good game. And then when
Reguilon was having a very good game.
Looking at this frame, Brian, what do you think is going to happen next? You might remember, but
I mean, once he picks his ball up, I feel like he's just going to drive into the space.
All right, let's see if that's what happens. For once, no. So he's actually reacting.
That's good. That's good.
Could that ball go in for Højlund? Højlund's already checked out anyway.
And see, this is what I was going to.
And this is the thing. You see, Højlund, for those that don't know, he loves that movement to the back post. He loves that. Yeah. So
that diagonal one from the edge of the box.
I always say this. This is why I don't describe him as a channel runner. A channel runner never gives this up. He's a striker first and foremost. Like, his skill set, channel running is not a big part of his skill set, the way it's been built by people before he came here. They don't pass this up, right? He's turned his back on the play. A channel runner would wait to see what's going to happen. He's not interested in that. His striking instinct is, I'm going to the back post. And then Rashford tries to pick him out, it gets blocked. And this is why, by the way, you never know if the cross is going to land there. In this occasion, he's made the right decision, in my opinion. Because Højlund's movement has told him the ball's not going to go in behind. I'm not going to run the channel, so I'm going to the back post. So he's made the right decision.
You know my issue here is, right, if Højlund decided to hold it a little bit and go towards the keeper, look at that space in the middle. If he drags away Van Heck, who's in the middle there? Is that Bruno? Bruno's there. That means Lamptey's going to have to change targets.
Casemiro
is free. Or is it Casemiro? But then look, what's Casemiro so good at? Running. Sometimes it is actually running into the box and getting a header. That was a free header, technically. It's 2 against 1 against Lamptey. Lamptey's 5'5". Why are we not targeting a 5'5" Lamptey at the back post?
Good point.
It's as simple as that. Target the back post every single time.
That one we've already seen. This one. That one we've already seen. This one already. What happened there? This one, I think he just ends up trying to shoot. Yeah, you'd expect him to shoot there.
Yep.
Next one. Don't know if we saw this one already. My memory's gone fuzzy. Okay, this is good play just from Dalot. You're expecting to shoot there. Let's go to the next one. Because he didn't find himself in as many situations as people would think. There he's trying to shoot. When he gets the ball here, should he just probably play it out wide? Yeah, that stuff annoys me. But then again, I don't want him picking up the ball central. There was another example identical to this where he actually plays through a Reguilon, but I might not have it in here.
I know what one you're talking about. It's finally he uses the overlap. What's the point of playing a diamond if you're never going to use what system is actually for, is overlap and then cause an overload into the box? We avoided. The thing is, Man United avoided all principles. Avoided all principles. The thing is, sometimes I feel like the system was working, but at the same time, Ten Hag could have tweaked it. But the players also abandoned the principle of what we was trying to do a little bit and got a bit. this is when it comes down to confidence. So it's just very annoying.
Yeah, dare I expect a shot? So yeah, man, that's Rashford review done.
Yeah.
For me, what I would say though, just very quickly, it's the first time they've played together. Just saying. And in that game, the amount of volume in terms of him getting into the penalty box, I actually think he attempted to cross enough. It's just people always want to see more. We're losing the game and they get frustrated. What always frustrates me with Marcus Rashford is not using the underlap and overlap. That frustrates me more, not the crossing. When a forward's in the box, he might not cross, he might shoot. I'd expect
You need Bruno up there, man. I look, people don't like Bruno, people don't like it, but guess what? He's one of our effective players, whether you like it or not, and he's here to stay. He's the captain. We need him up
very
there.
quickly, because somehow an hour's close to have flown by already. Jimmy, just your general thoughts on the game, if you want to summarize quickly, because we're going to react to the goals that we conceded in that game as well.
Just disappointed again. I
didn't see your message, Cass. Cass needs to go in 5, so we'll get Cass' thoughts. Cass,
give me your thoughts
briefly on Brighton, because you said a lot during that segment, and just what you'd want to see against Bayern Munich, what tweaks and changes as well before you.
No, we ain't got the players to do it. Look, I don't think there's nothing wrong with the team as it stands. I think maybe Scott McTominay being there is a bit stupid. I would take him out, and I don't really want to look at. I've watched Bayern Munich. Kimmich, he's not having the greatest time under Thomas Tuchel. There's clearly some sort of relationship breakdown there. Goretzka and everything. Look, you got Casemiro. This is exactly what he's going to be our bread and butter for. Play the system that we used to going away from home last year. You can also still play from the back this time and maybe stabilize it. 4-2-3-1, keep it compact and use the outlets. Pellistri, Højlund, and for me, Rashford. Break on them, because if anything they're weak against, it's the break. Alphonso Davies and Mazraoui play very high as well to support. Without no Wan-Bissaka now, it's going to be more of a task, but this is up to Dalot to start earning. This is how you earn your money, mate. If you want to be the best, play against the best and get a result. And if we lose, even if it's 2-1, it's expected, but don't get embarrassed. That's all I ask for. Don't get embarrassed, please. Because if I see a 5-1 or something, we're just looking like Arsenal when they got battered by them back in this round of 16. But I just think the only way we can beat them is break. I saw it against them by Leverkusen. They had some good spells, but a lot of them came through transition. Transition is a Tuchel weakness. So play it. And that's fine with me. Just get some wins under your belt, because he needs to start building from the back again until his players are back. Amrabat, Varane, etc., etc. That's just my 2 pence.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, man. Very quickly, looking at some of the comments. Hold on. 1 second. Danny, you're doing a lot to defend Ten Hag, but the squad planning looks wayward. What will you say if those transfers don't work out? Then I'll say the transfers didn't work out. He attempted to address the right positions. So every single window within the budget, he's attempted to address the right positions. So what would I say? I'd say give him an opportunity to once again do what he's already done in 2 windows, address the right positions, and see if he gets it right. We could be here in 18 months again, and you guys won't want to show any faith. At some point, you're going to have to ride out the turbulence with the coach. Also, you're saying the planet looks wayward. No, it doesn't. I used this analogy earlier on, right? Today. If my wife says we need a new coffee table, a new TV, and a new sofa for the living room, she says, what's your plan? And my plan is 9 o'clock on Saturday morning. I'm heading to the town centre. I'm going to grab all 3 of those things. Coffee table, TV, and and the sofa. When I come back to the house at midday, 10 o'clock, 11, when I get back, she ain't going to tell me my planning was wayward. She's going to question my choice in coffee table and sofa. She ain't going to talk about the TV, but she's going to talk about the coffee table and the sofa. She's going to question my choices. I got up at 9. My planning weren't wayward. I went to the town centre and I purchased the 3 items I said I was going to purchase. When I get back, then you're going to debate, is it the right coffee table? Did I get bumped on the price? Could I have paid less? Was there a better option? Same thing with the sofa. Now, here's the thing. If I can show her, yo, man, here are the coffee tables I looked at on Monday. It's Saturday. Here's the TVs I looked at on Monday. Bookmarked all of it on my browser. My planning weren't poor. By mid-June, everybody knew we were looking at Højlund, we were looking at Onana, Mount, Amrabat. They executed their plan. And I keep saying this to Man United fans. If you don't like their plan, that's one thing. but you can't say they didn't execute what they wanted. So your real issue is with their choices. It's not with the planning. It's the choices. There's no wayward planning here. You just don't like their choices. My thing is, give him another summer to see if he makes better choices. If he doesn't, 3 summer windows, I have no problem saying the manager should go. But for me, we're going to have to ride out a process with somebody at some point. And I think Ten Hag's the guy we should be. In fact, I back every manager. As far as I'm concerned, every manager should get 3 summers. Because you see this football club, you start with a handicap. You start with a handicap. All the failed projects you're picking up. Players who don't align, players who don't match. There was no strategy or plan beforehand. And people expecting to come in, clean up this mess, and step by step.
People don't talk about that enough, Danny. People don't talk about that enough.
And just get everything brick by brick, step by step, perfectly at the most hated football club in England. Yeah. And you got to see Klopp. You got to see Klopp not make top 4 for 2 seasons. Arteta not make top 4 for 3 seasons, if you include when he took over the club in November, I believe. And then 2 seasons following didn't make top 4. If Ten Hag don't make top 4, everybody wants to fire him. The pressure he's under after taking over a crap project, you'd think he took over a title-winning team.
Nah, people don't realize that at Man City, managers take over, the club is already winning trophies.
And by the way,
and it's just how it is over there.
I'm telling man now, he's already going to have a 50% success rate this window. Højlund and Onana.
Yeah,
I don't doubt that 1%. Those 2 are going to land. If he lands one other, that's 3 out of 4 signings. Do you want to do the math on what 3 out of 4 is as a percentage, and tell me anything above a 70% success rate is meaty signings. Yeah, the math won't math when you look at it that way. If you're trying to say that he's doing nonsense, anyway. Shout out to Sue that Saeed saying 100 analogy. Yeah, but people always say poor. You don't like the choices, so you don't like the choices. Poor planning. It's just a lazy way to think, in my opinion. Brian, what was your thoughts on the Brighton game generally? Just generally speaking, on the Brighton game.
I mean, it's disappointing. You know, it's disappointing. I think that. I mean, Brighton are a good side. I was actually a bit more disappointed in a lot of the Man United fans that are making it sound like it's almost like it's like a little bit of just giving Man United fans who weren't afraid of Brighton, like making them sound like they're ridiculous. Like I personally wasn't afraid of Brighton, but I'm not. That doesn't discredit them as how talented they are as a team. I expect Manchester United to win games at home, right? And I want Manchester United to win games at home against anyone, right? So, you know, Brighton are a talented side. Manchester United are in bad form. Man United got played off the park. They have a laundry list of injuries that no one seems to be talking about when taking into consideration how the season's gone so far, right? And so when you have some of your first choice players in key positions that are out due to injury, it makes sense why the team is struggling a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. It also hurts the ability to develop cohesion. For me, that's what needs to happen right now. Manchester United's team needs cohesion, but they're not able to get that because none of Ten Hag's signings are able to play together because they're always injured, right?
Yeah,
they're always injured. So like we just have to give things time. But Ten Hag still has to do more in the short term to make sure that the team's not getting embarrassed by teams like Brighton, who probably come the end of the season, bar some over-the-top catastrophe, is not going to finish above Manchester United come the end of the season.
Probably not.
You know, Brighton are the type that'll show up to Old Trafford, beat us 3-1, and then get touched by Bournemouth. That's the type of team that they are. So, given the context of the whole season, they're probably not going to finish above Manchester United. We're not going to really be talking about this game the way we are right now. But Ten Hag still has to do more in the short term to get results so he can paper over some of these cracks and get people talking about different things. Honestly, there's way too much negative news about Manchester United right now. We need results, if nothing else, to just stem the news tide to just chill out a little bit.
You know, for me, of course, we need results, but I think we need the football as well to look better. You know what I mean? I feel like just the results is probably not going to be enough. I feel like the results need to come with better performances. But just to touch on a point that you made about the injuries, it's not just the fact that we got injuries; it's the positions that we've got injuries in. Like if you look at, you know, important centre back, midfielders, and then you're looking at in the attack. Obviously, we've got Anthony who can't play, Sancho who can't play. These are key positions where you need effective players, and we don't have them. I have to say though, I think like you've said, Ten Hag's he's gonna need to be really, really clever, and part of that cleverness is going to have to be dropping his stubbornness that he's got, because he's extremely stubborn with his pick.
100%. I'm sorry. Like you got to give. We need to give players enough rope.
Yeah,
we have to, like, literally given the circumstances of the team's dynamics right now. Sancho has been banished to the Himalayas to train by himself. And Anthony's going through what he's going through. We got to give Pellistri a chance. We got to give Pellistri a chance. We can't shoot.
People are saying, no, he's too young. You can't do that over a whole game. I said, look, but nothing is working. Try something else.
Yes, but this is the thing. Is like Manchester United they are leaking goals right now. They can't play for more than 20 minutes at a time.
Absolutely not. We can never play for more than 20 minutes.
There's just
every good performance we've got this season has been either we played really well in the first 20 minutes, in parts of it, or we played really well in the last 20 minutes. So if you look at all of our good performances, 20 minutes is about the maximum we're getting out of the team. That's not good enough. And even, speaking of, like, I was having this argument with my cousin to say, if you're gonna look, the midfield's not working. It's not working. It's not ticking. When we've had all these injuries, the midfield that's currently playing is not working. So why not try something else? We've seen Hannibal came in with the legs, with the strength, with a bit quicker. He's erratic. I get that, but midfield's not working. So why don't you try and see if you can incorporate him a little bit longer in games rather than bringing him on for 5 minutes when the game is tough? He seems to bring on Hannibal when the game is tough. In the Liverpool game, we were already 6-1 down. You're bringing on Hannibal when the game is already tough. He's a young kid. Don't bring him on in the tough times. Bring him on in normal times so he can actually try and play his game, and you can see if he can develop.
Jimmy, one of the things I would say is that one of the things that Ten Hag did really well with Alejandro Garnacho and the way he used him last season was he used Garnacho as an injection of energy into a team whenever we were starting to look leggy a little bit. And I think if Ten Hag can identify those players in key positions and use those players at key moments, it can change the tide of matches. But at the moment, Ten Hag's not doing that enough for me. So the reason that Hannibal comes on and scores against Brighton is because he's an injection of energy into the team when they were looking down and defeated. And I think we need to do more of that. Ten Hag needs to do more of that earlier in games, but he also needs to inject players like that into the team from the start, which is why I'm calling for players like Pellistri to start, because you literally have nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose by injecting a player who is just they're chomping at the bit to get into the team, give them an opportunity to show what they can do. And I think it will raise the level of the players around them, because Rashford doesn't get shown up by some 21-year-old on the opposite flank. So I think it would actually raise the levels of the team if we inject a little bit of energy into the team. That's just all I have to say. We got to do.
Once Jimmy, hold on. So just so people know, we are going to dip back into the Y Scout and look at some other aspects of that Brighton game. I just realized it's been an hour, so I want to do the Bayern lineup now.
Yeah.
Judging from what you guys are saying, right? Do I even have to ask the question? Do you guys want to see the diamond against Bayern Munich?
No,
absolutely not. Not absolutely not.
I didn't think so. So you want to go back to the 4-3-3/4-2-3-1, which is
4-3-3. I don't see why not.
He doesn't even play like that on paper anyway. So goalkeeper, obviously we already know. Left back, we already know. Wan-Bissaka's injured.
Yeah, 2 months. I heard. Crazy.
Yeah, tune into Mr. Structure United Therapy. He'll tell you why that's happened. He'll tell you exactly why Wan-Bissaka has a muscle injury. Martinez is obviously going to play. If Varane is fit, does he come straight back in your opinion, guys?
Given the track record of Ten Hag, yes.
Yeah. I would
Do you
say.
think would any of you stick with Lindelof, or would you bring Varane straight back in?
I would not shoehorn Varane into the game because I think the intensity level of the game, Champions League night, could really injure him, like legitimately. So I mean, I would leave Lindelof in.
Do you
No,
agree
I
or
want
disagree with
Varane.
that?
I want Varane back in there straight away, man.
I
want
want
him to
Varane
start
in the team. No, say
100%.
I can say both. I want Varane in the team, but again, if he's on the red line, let's not
They cross the ball, man, and Varane's good in the air. So I just, I want him. You've got Harry Kane and who can take the crosses, and I want that height in there definitely. He's very
I tell
important.
you what, I want Mr. Champions League back in the team. Like, I need
Champions League.
That's all good. That's all good. Justice for Lindelof.
Next question. This is a big one. Let me put him in there now. You guys, if Amrabat's ready to go, are you dropping Casemiro and putting Amrabat
Yes.
straight in?
I 100%. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Explain why.
That game's going to be a fast game. That Bayern Munich game. We've seen how much he's struggling against fast teams, and for me, if Amrabat's fit enough to start 100%, yeah. Bring Casemiro on later on to to control the game a bit more maybe, but I would definitely bring Amrabat on. More press resistant. They're gonna wait. Let me just make one point, Danny. They're gonna press us quite high. Amrabat's very press resistant. So I think I'll
me
definitely
personally,
start.
let me just say this now. This is the midfield three I'd go with. I'd go Amrabat, Bruno, Casemiro. For me, Casemiro still has positional IQ. He's Mr. Champions League. Amrabat has the legs. And in the Conference League, he was very, very good. I know Champions League is a much higher standard. I'm just saying, going away from home in Europe, Amrabat does have some experience of that, but he's got the legs. I like his profile.
Oh, man.
He can do, in the first phase, Amrabat can do what Eriksen does better than people realize, in my opinion. And Bruno's in there. With these three, I'm looking at the positional intelligence of Casemiro and the legs of Amrabat and Bruno. I don't expect us to get outrun if we're playing this three. Could they be played around if tactically things aren't right and the pressing triggers aren't being coordinated correctly? Yes, that can happen to anybody. But in terms of running, you put Amrabat and Fernandes, I don't think you see us getting ran through the middle with this midfield three. But it is a democracy. You guys have chosen Amrabat to go in there.
You've shifted my thoughts, Danny. I want
No.
And here's why. No. Here's why. I think if with Bruno having that shield of Casemiro and Amrabat behind him, I think in moment, I think when the game when a play breaks down for Bayern and he picks up the ball in space, there's going to be our best opportunities to get at them. So
they're gonna say I brainwashed you, Brian. So if you changed your mind, you got Amrabat or Casemiro?
Everybody, let the record show that Danny is a serial brainwasher. I'm going Amrabat and Casemiro in the team.
That was brainwashing at its best.
I just laid out an argument. Just for me against Bayern Munich, I want to be strong in the middle. So I tell you now, I don't want to see. I don't want to see
my fear. My only fear is
I don't want to see Eriksen in this game as an example.
My only fear is seeing Scott McTominay start. That's a big fear of mine. Just because, and it's not. This is no knock on Scott, so don't kill me. But I just
name basis.
He had 21 touches, I think, in the whole match in that game. That's not good enough. It's not good enough for a midfielder who was supposed to be one of the main guys in the mid. It's not good enough. So we can't afford that in this match. We just cannot afford that.
Of course we can.
We'll get embarrassed again.
Just going to go to some of the comments quickly before we get to the
front three.
Yeah, before we get to the front three.
You won't brainwash me on my front three, Danny. You won't brainwash me on my front three. You got me in the first half, not the second half.
Ten Hag won't bench Casemiro. Nonchalant saying Champions League Cass, he knows. I'm playing both of them. Nonchalant was saying get Champions League for Varane back. Nonchalant saying Lindelof sus, I can't lie. Yeah, away from home, don't know, man. Don't know about Lindelof. I definitely want Varane in there. To the previous point in the previous game from Notchland.
Highlight Ross's
Hannibal-
comment as well. Ross's comment
Where's
is a good comment.
Same 6, 2 8s, Bruno, Palestri, Sancho, Rashford, Højlund centre forward. Not gonna lie, man. Shout out to Ross. I like that front three.
Yeah.
That's the front three I would go. If anybody got an alternative front three they'd pick for this game.
I want Højlund, Rashford, and Palestri. That's what I want.
Same.
Palestri's going to have a long. Palestri's going to have a long day. Palestri's going to have a long day against Alphonso Davies. But it is what it is.
But he needs to make sure that he's taking players off when quick enough as well. He's not sitting on them and just kind of leaving them to it. Just take them off. If not playing well, take them off.
Do you know what my thinking is as well? You go back to you're going away to Bayern Munich. So trying to double down on this diamond against a team that, by the way, has really, really good fullbacks, particularly one who can hurt you in Alphonso Davies, and they've got excellent winners in Gnabry and Sane. Playing a diamond is just, especially with Eriksen as a left centre midfielder, it just would be criminal from Ten Hag. It'd be really, really bad from him. For me, you go back to the way that you play. You go with this midfield three. You're going to have legs. And Rashford and Palestri, I saw against Arsenal, our wingers were actually doubling up. And you're going to want to do that against Bayern Munich. Or to be fair, and if they're not doubling up, the two players either side of Casemiro, Amrabat and Bruno Fernandes, have the legs, right? So, yeah, for me, Man United have problems with the ball, but we've got a lot of problems without the football as well. And this lineup, Palestri will give that energy that Brighton was talking about. Palestri is going to be gassed to be playing away to Bayern Munich. He's going to be full of energy.
It's a shame. It's a real shame that Sancho's not playing, because he's perfect for Højlund.
Sancho got banished to the Himalayas to hang out with Mom.
I feel like Sancho and Højlund would be a cookout, man. I'm telling you, it's a cookout. But just on
the front three, it could be if he plays well. You just don't know if he would. But what's done is done there. With this front three, you got balance.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's natural, and you've got one player in Palestri, predictable. Predictable players is not a bad thing.
Yep.
You know he's going to line up his man, try to get to the byline and try to cross. So then that means you've got two midfielders and two forwards and a fullback if they're inverted who know exactly what Palestri. Watching Rashford thinking, what's going to happen? Should I react? Should I not react? With Palestri, they know what to do. They're on site straight away. Brian, if you want to give me your thoughts on this front three, then we're going to dip back into Wyscout to discuss a few things.
Yeah, this is the front three that I want. My biggest thing with Ten Hag right now is the shoehorning of players in positions that they're clearly not good at or comfortable in. He's been doing it, and I just think something has to give at some point, because I think he's getting himself into a position where, I mean, his substitutions got booed at home against Brighton. Like, clearly fans are seeing things that the manager's not, or the manager don't care. And so I think that the manager has to show that he doesn't lack a bit of self-awareness in how he's running, how he's doing his job at the moment. And he needs to set the team up for success from the beginning, which he didn't do against Brighton. So set the team up for success in the beginning, and then manage the game within the game as it goes on. Right. Don't start with a handicap. So this is what I want to see. There's balance, there's legs. And it's the way to Bayern's Champions League night. Anything can happen. No one's expecting us to win either. So,
do you know what's interesting? This comment from Akil Pia. What was the game where out of nowhere he played? Was it away to Betis?
Yes.
And Palestri was in the lineup. No one expected that. He surprised everybody. And since he's in his bag of doing surprises and going to the diamond, on the low, I was in a space for shout out to Trust None, and Stanfield as well. We were discussing this hypothetical in a space a week ago, but we're like, there's no way he's actually going to do it. And he done it. So with Ten Hag, you never know. But I wouldn't be surprised if he persists with the diamond, but this is what we want to see. Do me a favor. We've gone for, an hour and some change. We're going to go over that time limit to go back into Wyscout and look at Ten Hag's pressing scheme and some of the goals we conceded this season. Make sure you smash the like button and share the stream as well, please. What I'm going to do here, if I can, because I can't be bothered to find it in Wyscout right now. So what I'm going to do I'll see if I can share my Firefox window. No, I can't. All right, let me see if I can copy him. You know, I'll just get it on Yscale. You're gonna have to watch me find this shit quickly.
No, you're right.
I'm a pro though. I'm a pro. Watch how quickly I find this. All I will do once this thing's finished loading. Come on, hurry up and load, man. Why are you taking so long? Let me refresh. Well, I want to allude to, so you may not have noticed this, right? So the way Brighton scored the first goal, they actually were going through those same patterns of play of luring us in, then switching the play out wide in the first few minutes of the game. They just didn't execute. So if I go Brighton, if I isolate the first 15 minutes, and then what I need to do is just get the goalkeeper passing. I think it's to Groves. If I see the timestamp straight away, I'll know where it is. Yep, that's exactly the one I wanted. Told you I'm a pro. Let me add it to the playlist. Let me put it in Brighton loss. And then what I'll also do very quickly while you guys are watching, there's another one on, if I go positional attacks down the right-hand side, this should say 9 minutes on the first one. Yep, I knew it would. My memory is ridiculous. Right. I put it in the wrong one. I put it on the wrong one. Let's go Brighton loss. Cool. All right, so when I go into the playlist, hopefully I don't have to refresh it. If I go into Brighton loss, it should be there. It's not there. That means it's at the bottom. All right, cool. First 3 minutes of the game. You don't need graphics for this.
What sound?
Right. So what you're going to see here. Oh, my bad. We'll zoom in. In fact, let me timestamp this so I know to click this up. All right, so this is the first 4 minutes. So people were saying, in fact, let me just wait. Let me let this develop. All right, cool. So with the goalkeeper, you can see our pressing scheme. You can see the diamond. You can imagine where Casemiro is, somewhere here. See the diamond shape. Cool. I'm not overly concerned with breaking this down. I've got other ones I'll break down. But problem here is to communicate. In fact, see, this is where the dangers of playing this team. Bruno, in reality, right, if he tries to block that passing lane, the goalkeeper's so good, we've seen Onana bend balls round someone pressing like this. It's what happens when you play against a good team. Sometimes, no matter what you do, you can find yourself in trouble. Bruno's decided the danger's here because he knows Eriksen is marking that man. That's why Bruno's vacating this passing lane, because Eriksen's going to press. But even if he doesn't, that ball could easily go around the corner and find himself is that dunk, whoever that centre-back is. So you're playing against a good team. They can exercise various options. Does Rashford work hard enough here? Let me let it play.
You lose the dynamic.
Oh, you tried your luck. You're not copyrighting me. So start again. One pass. Rashford gets drawn to the ball to begin with, and he stops. This is where people get onto Rashford. When that ball goes to this player here, right, you shouldn't be stopping. You should be anticipating where it's going next, and he should already be on his bike. Let's just keep it real, right? He gets on his bike too late, but this is my issue with Ten Hag's pressing scheme. It's just, generally speaking, it's too easy. Just so because Rashford, by the way, Rashford might not even get there. You just want to see him work harder, right? Do you get what I'm saying to you? It looks bad. You want to see him work harder. Either way, that pass still might end up going there. The fact that all it takes is 2 passes and they've got all this freedom out wide, that's my issue with Ten Hag's pressing scheme. I felt this way for a year. We always leave space ahead of the fullback. By the way, that's Lisandro Martinez. There's Casemiro. Reguilon can't really step up here because what they've done, they've got another one of their forwards in the half space to pin Reguilon. So he can't press the player on the ball. So when people said Dezabi waited 15 minutes to figure out how to find this pass to hurt us, this in the first 4 minutes. They're already doing it. And look, better execution, that ball's going in behind. Can't remember if it did now. Let's look. It didn't go in. But That's all it took. It's literally all it took. Like I said,
So easy, man.
Eriksen's on this man. Bruno knows that, so he thinks the ball might go here. And the goalkeeper, like we've seen with Onana, is more than capable of bending it round Højlund to pass it to him. So no matter what Bruno chooses, he could end up, they can execute a pattern anyway. Cool. You can call that a line break if you want. Statistically, it would be recorded that way, no problem. Could Rashford get on his bike quicker? Potentially, yes. No guarantee it stops this. And now Eriksen's forced to go from, where was he? Around this blade of grass here? If I go back, really think about it. You want Eriksen in these situations to go from this blade of grass, if our lines are broken and the forwards can't stop the first phase of Brighton playing out from the back. And then you want him to cover, how many yards would you estimate this is, Brighton? Oh, I didn't mean to skip. Let me go back. You had to guesstimate, how many yards is that? From that patch of square to the player out there. Is that about 20 yards?
Yeah, close to 20.
20, yeah.
It's like 19 yards, 20 yards, yeah.
So this is my problem with Ten Hag's pressing scheme. To have a scheme where your widest midfielder has to press here. Look where he's pressing from. Look.
Yeah. And Eriksen's not the one. Eriksen's not the one either.
I've seen Ten Hag do this in the 4-2-3 on the wide players where he wants them to press here. It's what we did against City. What we had Cassidy was set up differently. I'm not even going to get into all of that. So here you see, that ball can go in behind. One pass. One pass shouldn't make your entire pressing scheme break down. It just shouldn't. I'll get into the next example. This one's from 9 minutes. I already know this one, I think, is from 9 minutes 30. All right, they reset. Now we're in a mid-block. It's a different situation, right? I don't remember exactly what happened. Oh, is it one pass? Bloody hell. Lord have mercy. One pass. Shocking. I remember we counter-pressed. Eriksen did some coverage. We made them play backwards. Yes. It's all coming back to me. All right, so we're resetting in the mid-block. And by the way, we did this against Arsenal. So don't tell me they should be running like madmen here. I don't think they should be. But again, what people want to see, if Rashford shows effort, this is what I keep saying to people. If Rashford breaks the neck to cut out this pass, what do you think happens, Brian? I'm going to ask you.
Goes the other side.
No, it goes the other side. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't break the line. It doesn't break the line. It's a pass. It's a pass across his own line. You just pass it.
But then what happens is Rashford ends up here. This is my problem with the way this pressing scheme works. If Rashford ends up closer to Bruno to break, and by the way, I can tell you what should happen here. By the way, I'll show you in a second. Let's say Rashford stops that.
Yeah.
Or Rashford deters him from making that pass. He just plays it out wide. He just plays it to the centre back, and then they just go out wide. That's it. Like, you're not getting the ball back. That's all I know. Yeah. If that player says, all right, Rashford, you stopped me from wanting to play this pass, you're still not getting the ball back. And that's my problem. I don't think we've set up well enough to actually win the ball back. We're setting up to do our best to contain. And then there's a lack of a safety net. So what happens here, right? Line's broken. Lissandro steps out, deals with it. You can see where Eriksen is. And even now, with Eriksen closer, right, to the touchline, right, they still find that out ball. They still find it easily. And look, he's in behind again. This is in 9 minutes. De Zerbi didn't make some amazing adjustment after 15 minutes to figure out how to beat our press and get in behind down the left channel. And I put out the tweet on Twitter, their XG was highest down our left, down their right. And this is why. Yeah. What happened here? I can't remember. All right, they got in behind. Maybe an offside. But the danger signs are there. So let me show you what was supposed to happen in reality. This is the only safety net to stop in this pattern of play. This is what should have happened. Other than, because Lissandro gets drawn out of position. So step one, if you want to blame Rashford, for me, we don't get the ball back. You just pass it to the centre-back and they progress down the left anyway. You can see here, first line is broken. Cool. Lissandro does his job and steps out. When the ball goes back here, and this is why before I was saying, even if Rashford deters his man here, it's not going to stop the ball progression down the left because Eriksen's playing in that role, right? And you see that now. Now the ball's gone here. Does it stop them from playing down the left?
Nope.
That's why I'm saying, even if Rashford shows you more, because they got the option of just going sideways or playing a triangle, the problem is we don't have no coverage in front of our fullbacks. That's the bigger problem. That's the issue. And they're getting behind here. Let me tell you the only thing that could have happened a little bit better if I can find it. Arsenal game, Scott McTominay, if I'm reading it correctly. Okay, cool. I got the graphics on this one. You can see our shape, right? See the three. They bop it round, it goes back. Actually, no, this ain't it. Is this it? What happened? What did I do with this? Oh, that's the goal. Apologies, people. Where's Scott McTominay? There it is. All right, cool. So you see it here now, right? This is really the only safety net we have is the right-sided central midfielder. When the lines are broken, you step across the intercept. That's it. This is it. That's really the only safety net to the line break. You intercept here.
Yeah.
If you don't make that interception, if he misses that by a step, you already know we're done out wide. That's all it takes. Scott McTominay don't win that pass. Think about all the space that's exposed down the flank. That's why I talk about no safety net for the fullbacks, right? There's barely any. So when you think about the first goal we conceded, and I'll get into it next. I believe it's the next one in the playlist. And that's the Arsenal one. We'll go back. In fact, what I'll do actually, we'll go back to the Arsenal game. I don't remember many people blaming Anthony for this, by the way. But you notice nobody's running around like madmen here, right? We're trying to contain them. The plan here is to press with maximum intensity. It's to contain, set a trap, win the ball back, try to counter, right? Anthony gets drawn out of position, and just with one pass, Wan-Bissaka's outnumbered 2-1.
That's so easy, man.
One pass.
It's about discipline. It's about discipline.
One pass. So that's why I talk about there being no safety net. If one line break leaves your fullback outnumbered, something's wrong with your pressing scheme. I'm no tactical expert. I just like to do this for fun. Something's wrong with your pressing scheme when all it takes is your. And by the way, like, what do you actually want Anthony to do here? I'll let proper, serious, professional tacticals tell me what he should do. In my opinion, because of the nature of the setup, and it's not like we're playing a diamond this time round. This time it's more like a 3-2. Either way, I suspect Arsenal find a way to play around us anyway. But one pass. He could have played it into what do you call it? Havertz, and found the same route. They could have did it with two passes. They did it with one. And then we know what happened here, right? Can't defend the cutback, right? Everyone remembers. So I have a problem with this. One pass should not leave your fullback isolated 2v1. And then it gets into the box, you don't defend the cutback. Then when you go to the Brighton goal, the first one, exact same thing. Right? So that pass that I said could have went to Havertz happens here. This time round, Lissandro's not stepped up. Eriksen's come across. He couldn't make that interception that I showed you that McTominay made. If you forgot, I'll show you again. If you forgot, which is, where is it? Lost my place again. Is it this one? Is that the goal? That's the goal. That's the first one. So I keep losing my place.
This is it.
This is it. So you see, right? Line breaking pass, Scott McTominay steps across. Right? So for the goal, hopefully I can find it straight away.
Well, but
Same dynamic. Exactly the same dynamic. Eriksen doesn't step across quick enough to intercept that pass. Play it back centrally, goes back out wide. And it's just like the Arsenal game.
ooh, look at that defensive line. My goodness gracious.
It's just like the Arsenal game. It's no
Look at that. That's horrible, isn't it?
Let me go back. Let me go, just in case you missed it, I'll go back. It's no different. No different. One pass. They don't even break our lines here. They just draw Eriksen out of position, pop it back. This is why I'm criticising Rashford. Rashford should be squeezing here. Shouldn't just be watching. Let me zoom in. Rashford should not just be watching here. You need to try to affect the play. Even so, one line break, one pass out wide. 3 versus 1, man. Just like that. Just like that. You go back to the Odegaard goal, same thing. One pass.
That is disturbingly easy, man.
One pass. One pass. Full back 2v1. Just like that. One pass. Score from a cutback. Well bet goal. Scored from a cutback. Exactly the same. No different. No different. Exactly the same. A few other things I'll touch on briefly here. Was it the Pascal Gross goal? That was 30 passes. That this one. Yes, this one. Right. I ain't gonna go through the pain of making you guys watch all 30 passes. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm just not gonna do it. I see you need to go. It's just what bothers me here is, as pathetic as this whole sequence of play is, one thing I did notice, Casemiro had enough. If I play here, you watch him change. He changes the intensity. Watch. As soon as he goes, you've got opportunity to set the press. You can see Ten Hag is right here. Watch Eriksen. Watch. He doesn't even know where he's covering, and Ten Hag's not even telling him. Ten Hag's just watching. Maybe he's shouting. Let me not say that. Maybe Ten Hag is shouting at him. But considering the dangerous pass, you actually trapped them in the corner after all that passive passing. So the structure's worked a little bit. Maybe just by hook or crook, because Casemiro's ran from the center of the pitch all the way across to initiate this situation, yeah?
But that's just because he'd had enough. He thought, this is ridiculous. Yeah. They're just pinging it around for fun.
And this is why, if I see Eriksen start against Bayern Munich and the same formation, I'm going to be very, very concerned. I'm going to be looking at Ten Hag sideways.
That's what I expect.
Look how close he is to this situation. Eriksen never scans, doesn't know what's behind him, should just be shifting over to block that passing lane. Look at his body. He moves out of the way. Like he's not even aware. Reguilon tries his best. Reguilon knows what he needs to stop. Eriksen doesn't. You're right there watching it, Ten Hag. You're right there watching it. And then, they just bop us around, switch the play. It's all pathetic. And then, look at that. Oh, is that another goal scored from the edge of our box? My bigger concern is, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to see this become a trend.
Oh, you're in for a treat.
If I go back and watch the Wolves game, if I go back and watch the Tottenham game, I can probably find stuff I probably don't want to find, if I'm being honest with you, Jimmy. I probably don't want to find it. Don't want to find it.
Yeah.
But those switches out wide, those cutbacks, I think are becoming a trend. And for me, it's on Ten Hag to find the right team, especially when his players come back, with the coaching, the analysis, post-game, all of that, to offer more resistance and stop that from happening, in my opinion.
Well, shout out to King T'Challa, who's saying, by the way, in these examples against us, do you see how important the cutback is? I'm talking to you, Rashford, of course, he says at the end, but it's true. It's these little moments where it makes all the difference. That's how you win games. That's how you get goals that you even if you're having an average game, if you use these moments, you still get results. But because we're not even doing the very basics of football, we're not using these moments that even average teams do. Cutbacks. A lot of mid-table teams use cutbacks all through matches.
Do you know what? See, this Eriksen is shameless. At some point, I mean, we were speaking about Eriksen doing this a month ago when we looked at some clips from No Agenda and Ten Hag's pressing scheme. We've known all last season that Eriksen is shocking covering that space. The person who's shameless is the manager. I know I'm not Ten Hag by any means, but I'm not somebody who will just blame a player for something he's not capable of. I'll start asking questions why that player is being put in a position that exposes his weaknesses. And when you play a diamond and play Ericsson as a left-sided central midfielder, ask him to come narrow, and then when they switch, run 20 yards to cover that switch, you're exposing Ericsson's weaknesses. That's on the coach. I can't crash it on Ericsson for that. That's just my thoughts. Brian, Jimmy, I'll let you give your thoughts before you go, then I'll let Brian wrap the show.
Thoughts on what specifically?
No, just generally, just final thoughts.
Do you know what? Like final word from me. And again, me and my cousin, he's a Man United. He's a big Man United fan as well. So we suffer together normally. But we were having a conversation, and I was saying, I need Ten Hag to be. He needs to take more risk with the lineups. I think he's too rigid. Someone mentioned in the comments he's too rigid, and I think the way that the team is at the moment, there's no point trying the same thing if it's not working. And I know Ten Hag's. I know the way he works is, he drills things into players, so he wants them to keep trying until they get it right. He's that kind of coach, and I get that. You can do that at Ajax because you're probably still winning most of your games when you're not playing great. You can't do it at Man United because every team will beat you if you don't get your midfield right, if you don't get your lineup right. Any team can beat you in the Premier League. It's not the same in other leagues. So for me, he needs to be more risky in the selection that he takes, because when he's been safe, it's still not worked. So I don't mind seeing him be a bit more risky, like starting Pulisic, for example. I think that's a risk worth taking, because we've all seen the Bruno on the right thing doesn't work. People are saying, oh, put Mount on the right if he comes back. I can't see that working either. For me, put Pulisic on the right. He's a winger. He loves that role. He can hug that touchline. We know he will probably be more productive than what we've been trying so far. So he needs to take more risk. That's all I can say about the manager at the moment.
Brian, your thoughts before we wrap up?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think one of the things that I felt, and I think, Danny, one morning, you may not remember this exactly, but we were on a space, I think the day after Man United played Wolves, and I was mentioning in that space about how I was currently watching back through the game, and one of the things I said afterwards was the fact that one of the main criticism that I took from the Wolves game was the fact that I thought the way Ten Hag set the team up exploited weaknesses in the side, that if managers in the Premier League, if they were smart, that they would use that as a blueprint to start from when it comes to setting up for how to play against us. And I think there's been a lot of moments since that game where Manchester United have been outplayed, and I don't think that it's an accident. I think it's because of the way that Ten Hag has set the team up. I don't think he's shielding or protecting players' weaknesses or covering those players' weaknesses. And you can say there's a lot of reasons why. It can be because of tactics. It can be because of this. It can be whether it's his pressing scheme or whether that's a formation. You can say it's personnel. You can give excuses for saying that he's not able to play the players that he wants in the positions that he bought them for because of injuries, etc. But at the end of the day, I think Ten Hag has to stop doing the same things that he's done the last few games that have got Manchester United losing Premier League matches. That it's just bringing on a ton of pressure. There's just a lot of negativity surrounding the club right now. Some of it is on him. A lot of it isn't. But I think that he has to do something. We mentioned before, Ten Hag's going to try to do what he thinks is going to work until it stops working. And then until he feels like it's not going to work, and he's going to change. How high is his threshold for pain as a manager with what he's seeing his players go through and do? And when's he going to change it? Right. So for me, I hope that it's sooner rather than later. I like to see it happen against Bayern, irrespective of what the result is. Show us that you are willing to do things differently, regardless of whether or not you're going to get the result. And I think Bayern's a perfect opportunity for that. No one's expecting us to go to Munich and win. So what can you do differently from Brighton to Munich to at least give the team a shot at going out there and not embarrassing themselves.
Do you know what I'd back him to do? And I'll end it on this. If he put up a lineup, a back four we expect with Varane in there, and the fullbacks that are fit, a midfield three of Amrabat, Casemiro, McTominay, Garnacho on the left, Pellistri on the right, and Højlund, immediately I'd understand what he wants to do. I know what he wants on the centre of the pitch. He wants to compete. And then I know he wants to get the ball out wide, have two midfielders, at least one in McTominay that can break into the box. Casemiro and Amrabat in support roles. Or actually, Casemiro can break into the box. We know he does that.
I think he would probably let Casemiro break into the box,
Yeah, let Casemiro break into the box, Amrabat cover. And when you want to switch the play, get it to your wingers and crash it out wide. It makes sense to me. It makes perfect sense. The diamond, out of nowhere, Eriksen left central midfield, all of that. that stuff makes no sense to me. Ten Hag needs to stop creating problems for himself. It's as simple as that. Yeah? If you make choices that most fans are like, I see the logic, cool. Even I see your comment there saying he's not going to drop Bruno. If you went with that lineup, even the most avid Bruno FC person would understand why.
Of course, Bruno. Absolutely.
Because if you see Amrabat, Casemiro, McTominay, you know exactly what the manager's going for. I'm going to get a result. Yeah, this is how I'm going to get it. I've gone with two wingers, right? And I've gone with a striker. This is how we're going to get the result. You want to bring on Bruno as an impact sub, Rashford for this one game? Cool. Because the way I see it, the run of fixtures before City after this, that's when, right, what's your system? Who are the players you actually like? Have you got more players back? I think Mount will be back. Amrabat will definitely be ready. Varane will definitely be there, etc., etc. Cool. 3-1-6, 3-2-5, box midfield, whatever that stuff is, you go back to that when we plays at Palace or Burnley away. You go back to that Burnley away. If you did something like that against Bayern, even though it's different than the Diamond, it would make sense. And that's all fans are asking for. Stop creating problems for yourself and doing stuff that people are struggling to make sense of. That's what we're asking for from Ten Hag. I'm going to end it on that note. Jimmy, Brian, appreciate you guys. Everybody watching, appreciate you. You're watching this on the back end after the live. Make sure you smash the like button and share the screen. We'll be back here next Monday to talk about the Champions League game and
talk about how we beat Bayern Munich and beat Burnley.
Oh, it could be an amateur. Score predictions quickly, Jimmy.
For Bayern Munich, I would say I'm going to be optimistic and say a 2-2 draw.
Quite optimistic. Brian, score prediction.
2-1 United.
I like it. Selling copium. 2-2. Now we can't score 2 goals. I'll be happy with a 1-1 draw. It's Champions League football. You got to play chess, not checkers. Or what? A draw away from home to Bayern Munich in the context of that group, it'd be a good result. I was raised on that. When you go away from home in the Champions League, you get a draw. Win your home games, you go through in the group. Mathematically, that will never ever change. So yeah, shout out to everybody for watching. We'll catch you guys next week. Catch you in the next one. Peace.